Recording in progress.
What it do, what it do, what it do. It is your boy Andrew Schultz, aka Mr. Goody Two Shoes. And who am I with as always? Old Man Huggie, aka Joseph Huggins. One of those, in that order. Episode number 72. Talk shit or get off the pod. Walk the dog, motherfuckers.
It's funny. So right now what they're doing supposedly is like if you cuss within the first 20 seconds of a stream, they demonetize it. But we run that little ad for a little bit so it doesn't happen.
How did you find that out?
It's just been something that's been going on with their policies. But anyways, besides that, I just thought that was funny. I was thinking about when you cussed, I was like, oh, but we're already way past the window. But welcome. 72, Walk the Dog. It's a play on Wag the Dog. You've seen the movie.
I actually just walked my dog right before we started recording. But so I was taking her out, and she's apparently like your fire alarm,
Yeah.
what my smoke alarm really bothers her. And I know that like the actual one does, but we walked by this apartment,
Yeah.
and their battery was low, so it chirped at her, and all of a sudden her tail's between her legs. Aww. And she's wanting to go the opposite way where we're trying to go. And she's like freaking out. So I just take her back inside. Then I took her back out again, and there's two ways I can go outside, like when I get my hallway, and one way is the way to where we're supposed to go.
Yeah.
So she can go to the bathroom, and she refuses to go that way.
Oh,
So I had
poor
to take her.
pupperoni.
I know.
Puppers are the best, so that's always sad.
I know.
Whenever my dog Topanga, she is probably the most sensitive, and she's the closest thing to a person without actually being one. It's so weird because she knows when you're talking about her. There's so much weird shit she does. But yeah, she'll try to act tough, and if you're like, hey, don't bark, then she cowers. And I'm like, guys, I've never touched her. I don't know why she does this. So sensitive, man. I tried to pull a thorn out of her head because she's digging around and got a rose thorn in her head. So I was trying to pull it out. I got it. I finally got it out. Wouldn't fuck with me for 3-4 hours. And if I was like, hey, Topanga, she would look at me like, you monster. Because I got a thorn out of her head. It's so frustrating. It makes me feel like a bad person.
That's weird because I just had to do the same thing. And it weirds me out because Wera, my dog, she doesn't react to pain.
That's
so,
intense.
So I'm pulling it out. I'm like, I know it hurts. And she's just but however, gunshots and fire alarms or smoke alarms, that's her kryptonite.
Yeah, Topanga, it's trying to hold on to her. She'll run away. It's and if you're talking about her, I swear she knows. You can be like, oh, somebody be like, oh, Topanga's super cute. And I'm like, yeah, blah, blah, blah. She'll look at everyone and get up and walk out and go outside. Be like, fuck y'all. And leave because she knows we're talking about her. It's weird as shit.
It's not that weird. Dogs know their name, right?
Well, even if you don't say her name. You could not be saying Topanga's name, and it's she knows you're talking about her. It's when you're around her, you'd pick up and you'd be like, yeah, dude, your dog, she's just too in tune. It's she's too smart for her own good,
Yeah.
Yeah.
My dog's too dumb for its own good.
Man, if Topanga doesn't really feel pain, but that's intense because your dog's a tank, man. She doesn't feel pain and she's a tank, just
Well, that's the problem. So
beast mode.
I've seen her run into a sliding glass door at full speed twice. And everybody's both times people are she seems fine. I'm like, yeah, she seems fine because she wouldn't even we wouldn't know if she wasn't fine because she is immune to pain. But she could have I saw her head go sideways into a glass door.
Yeah, but her head's like a brick, man. She's got a big old blockhead too.
That's true.
Yeah, Topanga's this little, I don't know, she's a fucking goofball. I love her to death, but man, the most sensitive dog in the world. So she'll make anybody feel like a monster. If you're like, oh, Topanga, get down, she's like, she'd be the most dramatic person you've ever met in your life. If Topanga was a person, she would be awful.
she's like Gen Z Wokistan.
Yeah, definitely. Oh my gosh.
Speaking of, did you hear that? So there's a new generation, after Gen Z that's already alive.
How old are these kids now?
I think they're 8 and younger.
Oh, geez. Okay.
And you know what they're calling them? And I remember they tried to call us before we got millennials. They tried to call us like Gen. I think they might have tried to call us Gen Z or something.
It was Generation Y2K.
Yeah, or some ridiculous.
Y2J. I was like, no, that's Chris Jericho. That's badass.
Yeah, so I don't know how, like who comes up with like the official name, or people just spitball and try to come up with one, and then everybody just comes to a consensus on it. But for right now, the generation after Gen Z, or I call them Gen Zoomers, it's Gen Alpha.
Gen Alpha? Why?
Because I guess Z was the end of the alphabet, and they couldn't come up with something better. So
I
started
know
from the beginning.
I know a bunch of like little badass 6-year-olds who walk around like some alphas. I know a couple of kids in that age group who like I'm around consistently, and they got some fucking tudes. I'll tell you that. But Generation Alpha, that just sounds bad. That sounds like some alpha bro, dude. Like, you know what we're gonna call? You know what my kid is? My kid's a fucking alpha, dude. Xander out there in the tundra on the 45-inch mud tires with hot chick flaps. Yeah, my son, he's an alpha. So he's Gen Alpha. He's Generation Alpha, bro. And everyone else is like, yeah, dude.
Nah, I don't know. I feel like it's scientists who didn't think about that, and I also think that
What scientist is naming this, by the way?
I don't know. That's what I'm saying. However, I heard a scientist say it. That's why I'm saying scientist. But also, they're setting us up for the perfect transition from OK Boomer to be like OK Alpha.
Well, it's gonna be no, because it's the next alpha one. It'll be OK Beta, and then Beta is the whole Alpha Beta thing now. So then it's like perpetuate. It could be alphas versus betas, dude. That's like it's like an omen. It's coming.
I think we're gonna shame alphas so much for being called alphas that they're gonna become actual betas in real life.
Ooh, so it'll be like it's like ironic that they're called alphas, but they're like, oh no, please.
But they're the most sensitive, like stupid. Yeah.
No, please Y2K Gen Millennial, don't quit punking me. Yeah, no, I don't know. That's kind of dumb. I want to know the scientist who's coming up with this name. It's got to be the same guy who's like the person who's gonna walk on the bottom of the ocean and find all the gold in the world has already been born. Like with some absurd made up bullshit metric.
Now, I don't know. Like the first
what do you
person
mean? How could you?
Like
no.
The first person who ever lived to 150 is already born. I don't think is made up.
Well, okay, when they're like the first person to walk on Mars has already been born. Maybe.
Yeah.
I doubt it. They might be born on the way there, bro. We don't know. We can't get there yet. It's like we put the cart before the horse. We put the birth before the actual like technology to accomplish this shit. So it's just really funny. It's like being like super optimistic. Like I'm buying a Lambo this year, dude. 2023 is my year. Like that's the scientist. He's the most optimistic like person of all time. He's like, oh yeah, that guy's been born. Oh fuck yeah. Oh, save the planet. He lives in Iowa, man. He's like 3.
Life doesn't begin at conception. It begins when I tell you it begins.
Yeah. Oh, born. Done.
Straight up.
Yeah. Do you want him born? Because I can birth him right now, dude. Done.
the NBA player that's gonna outscore LeBron James for the most points ever has already been born.
Yeah.
Count it.
The first quarterback. Oh no, I was gonna say the Eagles quarterback that's gonna be born and then go to college or high school, 2 colleges, get drafted, and then go to an NFC Championship game before the Cowboys get back to one. That guy will already be born.
You're lucky that we went this long without saying.
Yeah, that's it. That's all I'll say about it. But yeah, fuck y'all. A little round of applause for that. And but no, I want to meet these scientists. That's all I'm saying. Who is this arbitrary science man who's declaring the people? He has a lot of power. I know we're kind of like rolling off course here, but
you're saying it's a he. I mean,
it could be a group. It's like a think tank. There's some think tank, and they get together and they're like, "What baby do we need born today? We need to come up. What do we need to solve? What problems do we have?" Like, well, my internet's pretty slow. I mean, 5G would be pretty sweet. Well, we already birthed the 4G baby last Thursday, so he's there. There's a little bit of a gap. Done.
The first person to die from the apocalypse is already born.
Yeah. Oh wow. That sounds
sad. Dark alert.
Well, not really. I mean, if you're very religious, you're like, hell yeah, he has, and I'm gonna be there for it, and I'm stoked. I'm gonna bring the picnic basket.
JESUS.
Take me away and leave the rest. because they're
Oh,
sinners.
go Holy Spirit.
Round of applause. That was actually pretty good impromptu.
All right, as we do, we start with therapy questions.
Yes.
Now, being it that we're on episode 72 and we do anywhere from 3 to 4 therapy questions, every episode,
Yeah.
that's like almost 300 therapy questions we've done.
What? That's wild. See, I need
Yeah, maybe not almost 300, maybe like 250, but
so
a lot of the biggest lists of that I can ever like come across max out at 250. So, and some of those questions aren't entertaining, so I have to scrap. So what I did was I got on ChatGPT
Ooh.
and I asked ChatGPT for some therapy questions.
Oh.
Well, I tried 4 different inquiries. It would only give me 10 at a time because I would just say I'd ask for a list. And I was actually glad that it stopped at 10. I'm like, is it just going to keep going and going? But no, it stopped at 10. Almost every single one that fucking AI piece of shit robot came up with, we've already used.
Stealing our shit, dude.
Other than the first therapy question that the AI put in, ChatGPT, the only one that's in this list for today. What is your opinion on artificial intelligence and its impact on society? This AI motherfucker asked me what my opinion was on him or her or they. What is your opinion? Because it scares me. Scares me.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's something that's obviously interesting and it could be beneficial, but it's, to what extent and to what restraint. Like, when they're talking about like, oh, this thing knows it came up with its own name and now it's got its own, it's making shoes that nobody told this robot about shoes. How did it find out? That's where it's kind of interesting that we've reached that level in technology and that something can almost like have an algorithm that where it's like constantly feeding and looking for more information and improving itself. And that's like, the whole fear of robots. You need the certain Will Smith for that one. I, Robot Will Smith, when they become like sentient or they're aware, because it's like the whole fear is always, oh, these robots are gonna, or this AI is gonna figure out like that we're kind of a plague and it needs to get rid of us and it's gonna dominate our planet because you don't really serve a purpose on this planet.
I mean, you're laughing. You're laughing past the gallows, as they say.
Yeah, no, I mean,
you're laughing, but it could happen.
Oh, well, I mean, that's like the big ultimate fear is, like, would it destroy its creator? Would it deem us as like not worth it? And that's where, if you AI with some sort of restraints to it, but it's like, I don't know. I think you're playing a dangerous game. You're trying to, it's that whole like playing God idea. You're trying to create something that I don't know, but it could be beneficial. Like if it was, and in all good sci-fi movies, there's some AI like lights on. It's like lights on. There's always some sort of cool thing like that. So if we get some cool shit like that, I'm down.
Let me just say, when I've heard this and I like it, it's like when you're asked what is artificial intelligence, it's everything that came before the latest technology. So like the internet was AI, your Roomba AI, and so it's like they've been saying stuff is artificial intelligence for a long time.
Oh yeah, man, them
and
Roombas,
then
dude.
we just move the goalposts and we're like, well, that's not AI, that's just computing, or that's just a calculator.
True. True. Like, now you got people that are like literally fucking robots. And they're just like, that's just my companion, my friend that I cuddle with at night. Please write another Vice article about me and my weird blow-up doll relationship. That's robotic.
But like a Google search, AI. But now we're like ChatGPT's AI. Well, whatever the fucking next thing is, we're gonna look back at ChatGPT and be like, that was like rudimentary bullshit.
Well, I think what if we've already been preconditioned to be down with AI? Because I look to like shows like the Jetsons, which is fantastic. Fucking love the Jetsons and like the original cartoons. And you think about it, we already have FaceTime. They had that where you could like video chat and call. But, if we have house robot maids, like I think Rosie, the robotic maid in the Jetsons, she's pretty damn sentient. She's fully aware of what's going on, right? I think in the future, in the Jetsons world, if the Jetsons is like an omen for the future, because everything else, we're there, dude.
I think Star Trek or Star Wars is more of an omen, where they had like cell phones and they had like your smartwatch, and like
Yeah, but that's unrealistic because in Star Trek, like everybody of all races, religions, and creeds is like, we're friends. Let's travel the galaxy, and like we're not. That is
I
not this.
I
That
just
is
meant the technology part of
Oh,
it.
I was gonna say, I was like, yeah, maybe the technology, sure. Everything else, like the companionship and compromise amongst all these different races of people in outer space, no, that's not happening. Like, I'm sorry. Especially like, and not that it's a bad thing, but also there's like one white guy sitting in a chair barking orders at everybody. Seems like a lot of minorities are doing the hard work on the Star Trek Enterprise. That's all I'm saying.
Well, some things never change.
Is that controversial? Am I
Yeah,
allowed to
probably.
say that?
I think they've changed up like
No, I mean they
racial
have.
components of like the Star Trek Enterprise or whatever the fuck.
Yeah, but
I
that's
don't
like a
watch it.
dystopian future because, like I said, everyone's getting along. Like, we're so far from that. If it was like, all right, everybody's got to go to space to not die, and we have to get off this planet, there's no way that everybody would get on the same page to, like, collectively go to space. Like, hey, look, man, we're squashing the beef. Let's team up to go to space. That's not happening. USA
Well,
would be like, later, and we maybe take some people with us or help some people out, right? I mean, that's like the whole
dude,
Elysium.
think about this. Think about this, and don't steal this, live stream audience. So like with like these franchises, you don't need to like work for Disney to write a Star Wars thing or work for whoever on Star Trek. You just write the script, you pitch it, and then it gets picked up. So we write a script about Star Trek, but it's Star Trek before they were able to like go into different dimensions. What was the lead up for them to leave the Earth like that? Like that's the dystopian shit.
Well, I think they touch on it. I mean, I'm not really sure. I haven't seen the
Like a
originals
whole
in for.
movie just based upon that.
Yeah, but I don't know, man. That would be like viewed as too woke. Because people would be like, hey, man, that movie, that Star Trek prequel, ain't that good, man. Everybody gets along and they save the human race and they go to space, man. And they go, like, explore. And I don't, that's how it starts? What the hell, man? Like,
No,
there's
no,
no.
no. It could be like the dystopian of what, like before everybody got along, it was like a shit show,
Like
and this
what?
is
And then,
why
like,
this
what?
is why everybody gets along now.
Okay, that could be cool. And then you could secretly, like, M. Night Shyamalan, like, tie it into Star Trek at the end. And you're like, whoa, that was a Star Trek movie? I had no idea.
Dude,
Good.
that new M Night Shyamalan movie, but Knock at the Cabin.
Yeah.
I thought it was just gonna be a bunch of creepy shit going on in a cabin, and then I saw like a bigger trailer, and it's like no, this is the apocalypse,
Oh
and
yeah, no, that's a
it's like
book
planes
called
falling
Cabin
out
at
of
the
this.
End of the World. So
Yeah,
it's a novel. It's based off of a novel, and yeah, it's basically this gay couple and their adopted daughter go out into the woods to stay at this cabin, and these four people show up, and they're like, "Yo, bro, like we gotta kill y'all to stop the apocalypse from happening." And
that's
then that's
insane.
pretty much all I'll say about it. I mean, that's obviously implied. He says that in the trailer, so I'm not doing
Right?
spoilers.
No, yeah,
But
yeah.
really good book.
We haven't seen the movie, so how could we spoil it?
Yeah, really good book. But yeah, it's fucking crazy. That's gonna be a really good movie. I'm pumped about that. That's like I'm like hell yes, that's
That's
awesome.
it's
And
too soon for me. I
and
can't.
Batista's such a good actor at this
Yeah,
point.
yeah.
In
Batista.
Glass Onion, he was so good in Glass Onion. He just like sells it. Like he's a better actor than The Rock. The Rock's obviously bigger, but I think he's a better like pure actor for sure.
Um, he was in that movie with the guy from The Big Sick, who's like now a Marvel guy. He's like Indian, and he's like all ripped now, but he was like just I don't want to fuck up his name. I forget it, but he was in that. Like,
Jason
anyways,
Momoa? No, not
no,
him.
no, no, no. He's
Trying
like
to think.
he's from India, or he's like Indian descent, Indian American. Like he would not ever thought he was going to be a Marvel star. But anyways, they were in this like movie, like it was like a comedy, action, whatever. But afterwards, I think it was like Batista's first movie, outside of wrestling.
Yeah.
And he was saying, he's like, I think this guy's going to be a big star. And I was like, we'll see. But here
Mm,
we go. But here we go.
he's legit, man. Batista's
No,
legit.
I know.
Yeah,
But this
no,
was
I
a
know.
while
That's
ago.
just like great. He said all he ever wanted to be recognized as was a good actor. He's like, I really want to be recognized. So it'll be cool. And he's got like two bangers back to back. He crushed it. Like I said on Glass Onion. If you haven't seen that, go see it. But Cabin in the Woods or Cabin at the End of the World is the book. So you can go read it after you see the movie. I'm curious to see it what the movie's like, but it's pretty fucked up. It's pretty good.
Movie's better than the book, I heard.
Well, I mean, there's visual. I don't know. That's not always true, but yeah,
No, no.
it
Everybody
can
always
be.
says everybody always says the book is better than the movie.
Yeah.
That was the thing, like to sound like
Yeah.
a
Has
pretentious
anybody ever?
asshole.
Nah, that movie was way better than that stupid fucking book. I mean, I
That's
can't. I don't
that's what
know.
I've said that,
No, well, maybe because
but I
the
don't actually
original.
believe
Hold
that.
on, the original movie for Lord of the Flies that was like super old school was actually pretty good and kind of fucked up because it was like you were watching all these kids like fight and battle it out with spears. But the book is good, but it's short, so the movie was like longer. So I kind of dug that. The movie was actually pretty good. And
Well,
the
that back
Outsiders
then,
movie is also really good.
yeah. So maybe there was a period of time where the movies were better than the book because people
Well,
hadn't
they were
really
like
seen
50
that many
50.
movies.
They were like 50-50.
Yeah, they're like, well, this book is now like on screen. Like this is amazing. Of course, the movie's better. And then went all the way to where, like, oh, only people watch movies and not that many people read books. So it's like, the book's better just to like fuck with somebody.
From Pixar.
Are you going to go read it? Because I did.
Yeah. From
All right.
Pixar and the Ghost of Rodney Dangerfield. One fish, two fish, red fish, blue fish. You're like, oh god dang
He's
it.
like, I can't get no respect.
Yeah.
Shout out Rodney.
No, but I mean, artificial intelligence, to wrap it all back, artificial intelligence is like a threat. I don't think it only really becomes a threat if we let it get like out of control. You know, if
Well,
it's
yeah.
like we're gonna all let this computer run everything that we do on our day to day, you know, like some space odyssey type shit, that would not be a good idea.
Yeah, I agree.
Unless you have iRobot Will Smith.
Well, how about this? We can take comfort in knowing that it's not going to replace us as far as coming up with topics for the podcast
Yeah, that's true.
because they were basic as fuck.
What if they're stealing? What if the AI bot watches this podcast? And he watches all podcasts and he steals everybody's questions.
Well, if he did, then he would have better questions. But if he's just like,
True. Okay.
yeah,
That's fair.
I,
No,
I
he'd
think
have more
I
variety.
think like it just basically did a Google search of like top 10 questions, like, and it's like, okay, dude, we already did that.
Found this on Chive. Top 10 questions you should ask people in a deep conversation.
They're all the same. They're all the same. You have to go on a deep dive in order to like find new ones. All right, y'all. Therapy question number 2, Joseph, and I know this is gonna cut you deep.
Oh, yeah.
Is cereal soup? Why or why not?
I would say no. Cereal's not a soup.
And now explain to us why.
Because you use the milk and it's absorbed by like the cereal, so it's really depends. If you can make it soupy as fuck if you're one of those weird people that wastes milk and like fills it to the brim and you're like, ugh, you're one of those weirdos. If you are, disappear. But if you do that, then like I guess that's soup. But I mean, it's not the same.
Well, what qualifies soup?
Well, it doesn't have to necessarily be hot because you could have a cold soup like a gazpacho,
Gazpacho.
which are pretty good. So that's totally possible. But cereal doesn't constitute because you use the milk. The liquid is being absorbed by the cereal. You don't it's part of the process. I think cereal's almost its own thing in itself. It's more of an oatmeal than it is a soup.
Well, I do eat my oatmeal as I do my cereal. Like I pour milk on it.
Hmm. So they're
And
almost the
chocolate
same
syrup.
thing.
Yeah, I guess cereal it's what's in the box before the milk is added, right? That's cereal.
Yeah.
Yeah, so a bowl of cereal.
But eating cereal, you can eat cereal dry, and normally if you do that, you're disclosing it. Like, oh, I'm eating some
No,
dry cereal.
No. Listen. Well, hold on. Let me get your take on this because I'm not going to let it slide. Rolls Royce, slide Drexler. I'm not going to let this slide.
What did you ask him?
I didn't ask him. I just remember growing up, he would, he didn't like milk, but he would still put his cereal in a bowl and eat it with a spoon dry. And then one day I was like, well, why don't you just eat it with your hands? And then it was as if like he had never thought about that, but also that I had offended him because he had never thought about that. I'm like the whole point of the spoon is because you're getting the milk and you can't just eat it like a snack.
Yeah.
So if you don't have milk, why are you putting it in a bowl?
Well,
with
that's
a
why
spoon.
there's two ways to eat cereal: dry or wet. But either way, you're eating
Are you
cereal.
are you eating it with a spoon though? If it's dry,
No,
because
that's
that's
weird.
that. Yeah, yeah. Thank you. Rolls.
Yeah, I don't know. That's a little. I mean, I guess. I mean, maybe there's a situation where you could call for a spoon, but I'm not. That's not something that I'm into.
Well, okay, I'll get us back on this. Fruity Pebbles, very hard to eat by your hands.
Yeah,
Spoon might be best route to go there.
yeah, but you could almost just like put them in a cup and like eat them, like just like kind of shove it in your mouth like runts or nerds.
Yeah, maybe we should market that.
What's your least favorite cereal?
Least?
Least favorite. Like if I was like, hey, I have this cereal, you could either eat this sand sandwich or this cereal, and we're stuck on an island. You're like, fuck that cereal. I hate that shit.
I don't have one. I'm
Really?
like I'm really like the all the cereals that get like lambasted as like old people cereal or healthy cereal.
Some of those are good. Some of those are clutch as
Yeah,
fuck. Like Honey Bunches of Oats and stuff. That's legit.
my least favorite cereal is probably one I've never even tried because I haven't tried a cereal that I'm disgusted by.
Mine's Honey Nut Cheerios.
Why, bro?
All right. So my mom would always buy like boxes of cereal. She'd buy like two or three, and there's three of us in the house, like three kids, and she'd be like one box at a time, one box at a time. Stupid ass rule because I'm the only one who eats cereal. But every time we'd get cereal, my sisters would sprint downstairs and open up some big ass box of Honey Nut Cheerios, and those boxes are no joke. Like if you've seen those family size Honey Nut Cheerio boxes, look next time you're at like HEB or some shit. They're huge. And then she would get like Tricks and Fruity Pebbles, and they'd open the Honey Nut Cheerios. They'd eat a bowl. I couldn't open the other two because my mom would beat my ass. So I had to sit there and eat an entire box of Honey Nut Cheerios by myself just to get to my cereal because my sisters didn't really want it. They just eat like a bowl or maybe eat a bowl every once in a while, holding me up from the fruity deliciousness.
Dude, what the fuck is this? Like
It's true.
communist bullshit. Like, okay, why didn't you just get your own box
Well, I'm like
instead?
7.
And they're ordering, so she's getting three boxes at a time, but you can only eat
One box at one
one
box
variety
at
at a time.
yeah.
That's the point of getting a variety if like you could only eat one.
I don't know, man. That was
We
a
like to
thing.
we like to dabble it.
It's pretty crazy. I know it sounds ridiculous, but that's like why I fucking hate Honey Nut Cheerios, man. I can't stand it. It's strictly because was forced to eat boxes and boxes of it.
You know what my favorite cereal was, for most of my life and still might be Frosted Cheerios.
Yeah,
Guess what does
legit.
guess what doesn't exist anymore
Frosted
out here?
Cheerios.
Yeah, what the fuck happened?
Those were legit. And I really like the apple cinnamon Cheerios. Those are clutch.
Okay, but I thought Frosted Cheerios was number two, if not overtaken the original Cheerios. Like, and now it's just not in the store anymore. Like, is there a supply chain shortage on this? Was it like FDA ban on Frosted Cheerios?
Maybe,
Like,
man. I bet you there was something wild like this. Like the sugar content was so out of control that they had to get rid of it before everyone found out. They're like, "Look, we'll just shut it down. We won't let anybody know."
I thought it was like just maybe like the one or two stores that I go to just like don't have like a lock on it. But I was just at my mom's house today and using her app for Vaughn's to order groceries. And I was like, and she's like, "What kind of cereal do you like?" I was like, "Frosted Cheerios." I was like, "But I haven't seen them in a while." And she's like, "Yeah, I haven't either." I'm like, "Why would you even be looking for them?"
She's
And
like,
then,
"Shit, you're right."
and then she got on the app, and yeah, it was not there. It's not even available. It's not like it's sold out.
Damn, wow.
Yeah, it's sad, dude. Pour one out. So now I do Fruity Pebbles with marshmallows because the marshmallows give it a little bit more sustenance because the Fruity Pebbles get soggy real quick. But
Yeah, that's a eat fast cereal. But no, cereal's not a soup. Cereal is either in its own category or it's more like an oatmeal, man.
yeah, well, okay. Therapy question number 3. What is the sexiest and least sexy name? Question mark.
Well, I don't know if there is one that's like that's the most sexiest name I've ever heard. That's fucking weird.
I I was like, I had no clue what my answer was gonna be on this, and I told myself because I only put these in like 30 minutes before. I told myself to give myself 15 minutes to try to come up with this, so I wasn't just like blanking on the podcast, but I did do it. So I was
Yeah.
hoping to bounce off of your ideas here.
No, I mean least sexiest name. I mean you can come up with that, but I mean it's all the same. Or all the names are kind of the same. It just depends on the person. I feel like. Because I mean,
Okay.
I bet you could find like a pretty sexy Bertha out there. There's probably a
Okay,
hot Bertha
okay,
roaming
here we
around.
go. Here we go. Now you're saying that Bertha might be in the category of least sexiest names.
Well, and okay, and
What
there.
about Big Bertha?
Well, so in NBA Jam on Nintendo 64, there was a character and create a character that was named Big Bertha, and that was a nickname in the game. So that's what I
That was the name.
associated with like
That
this big fat woman dunking a basketball all the time. That's Big
that
Bertha.
that was the name of my first golf driver.
From downtown. Yeah,
The
what is
big,
that? Callaway?
yeah.
Hey.
Okay. Well, so this is what I was. Now I'm like starting to like worry about because you and I are both. I, I don't know what the words or the term cis means, but I just know it applies to me.
Okay.
Straight cis males. I don't know if that's redundant or not,
Yeah, but
but
I'm like a cis minority male, so like I got like a little bit more like
what
street
does
cred.
cis mean? What does
Like you're
cis
just
mean?
like you identify as like you're just a dude, a straight dude. Cis is like you're just like I don't know if that's regular. Not that anything's
Yeah,
not regular, but I'm
uh,
just
I just don't know where it came from. But no,
I have no idea.
my I identify as someone who says that Donald Trump's pronouns are she and her. Like, just deal with it. That's just how I identify now.
It's kind of weird. So you identify on Donald Trump's pronouns?
Yeah, just
Super
as a
compli
I'm just a person who just identifies
I was like,
as calling his pronouns she or her. Yeah.
I was like, that's based.
No,
Um,
I actually heard Sean Penn say that on Bill Maher's podcast yesterday.
No, I
He's
mean, I think yeah, but cis just means you're just like a cisgender female is just like a woman, like a regular girl.
what? Okay, but what is the cis part?
I don't know. I just know it means
That's
that,
all
like
I'm
I know that I
asking.
was always just like a straight black guy, and now I'm a cis straight black
I
guy.
think I've Googled it like 3 times and always forget it. Like why I've had to Google it more than once.
I'm not sure, but yes, you're definitely a cis white guy.
Yeah, I knew that. But my point is that
You're a threat.
that I was afraid that we were gonna say sexiest and least sexy and only pick women names because
No, because I think there's
to
some
us
names
with
that are kind of like cringy. Like if your name's like, "Hey, I'm Jim Bob," not that like that's a bad name. Like there's if it's all about. I think our
James
association.
Robert though is the real name. So
But see, but I think that all of those names are associations with things where we've heard them before and attached to something. You know, like so if you hear the name Seabass, you think of some big dude with a trucker hat from like. What's it called? Kick His Ass, Seabass, and Dumb and Dumber. Yeah, right. Like, so there's certain names, like just like me and that name Bertha. Like that's just because of like a video game I played as a kid that I thought the character was funny.
all right, I'm just gonna come out with this since we're dancing around it, and I don't know if this is the least sexy, but now that we're here, Helga.
No, man, I don't think so. Because I mean, you could go over to like where that name's traditional, and you'd be in like surrounded by a bunch of like 8 foot tall blonde people, and they'd all be everyone. The ugliest person in town's prettier than all of us.
I know, but I think it's more of how it
So that's like
sounds.
Gunther. Yeah, it's all about like the sounds. Because Gunther,
Yeah,
I guess I'd be like,
yeah. This is we're not besmirching any Helgas out there or
or
Gunthers.
Gunthers, or Berthas,
Okay, what
or
about sexiest?
there. I mean, I don't know. I feel like it'd be something Spanish, like Sergio. It'd have to have some sort of accent to it. It's definitely
Yeah,
like Italian or French, Spanish. It's definitely not American.
I think I heard.
Xander
I was watching some reality show, and this guy's name was like
Britton.
his real name was like Leonardo Ricardo.
Yeah, see, it's got to be a full name too. It's not just like the first name. It's got to be like a full name, because like even
Okay.
male or female, like
Helga Gunther.
because if you're pretty enough and mediocre, but like mediocre at whatever you do, but you're pretty enough to make up for it, regardless of sex, the people are gonna call you by your first and last name.
Oh yeah, I mean, if you're hot enough, you're gonna change the perception on that name for the rest of life.
Cristiano Ronaldo.
Giselle Bundchen doesn't sound that sexy,
But they call her Giselle. So if you can just
right?
in Brazil, if you can get called by just one of your names, or
They
just
call her
one
that.
name that's not
Like,
even your name.
it's not just Brazil; it's the whole world.
Well, I know, but I mean, but that's a Brazilian thing. You know, just have one name that you go by.
I was just thinking more like Bono, like Elvis.
No, but he's not. Is
It's
Bono hot?
Giselle.
Was Bono ever hot?
No, I'm just talking about the one name thing. Michael, you know? Like, we all know who we're talking about when we say Elvis. We all know who we're talking about when we say Giselle, even though there's other people named Elvis, other people named Giselle. Like, she's taken that name.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like Mr. Goody Two Shoes. That's me now.
Sure.
Facts. Big facts.
That's such a stupid question.
All right, well, you know, ChatGPT did not come up with that. Just, you know, full disclosure.
Watch, you'll ask it next week, and it'll be like, "What do you think the sexiest name is?" You'll be like, "You son of a bitch."
I should have. I didn't even think about that. Like,
answering. What did you call me, Andrew?
That's what I should do. Is I should ask it the questions that I come up with, and then I'll have answers for the podcast. See how that works.
That would be good. Oh, yeah.
That's a quantum leap.
That could be a whole section. It's like some Interstellar Matthew McConaughey shit, man.
All right.
I'm gonna
Times
get
a
the
flat
answers
circle.
from this. Yeah, I'm gonna get these answers from this robot here. I wonder if it knows that I'm even here right now. Do robots have eyes?
Woo! What does he do? Something like that. All right. Therapy and final therapy question number 4. What sport would be the funniest sport to add a mandatory amount of alcohol to?
See, I was thinking about this. I mean, if you could ensure that no one's getting hurt, I think that we'll hockey would be really funny because people would be on skates and on the ice. So they'd be all like sliding around. Football wouldn't be funny because if everyone's drunk, they're just going to be taking like cheap shots and tempers are going to be flaring. So it can't. Basketball might be good if they're like drunk, like they're not good. So it's like not competitive. That could be good.
Yeah.
Hacky sack, drunk hack. Well, maybe that could just be really boring. They just can't.
Who's playing hacky sack not drunk? And also, I played ice hockey and I was drunk very often when I was playing.
I know you.
Tell me. I was high every time that I played, like on purpose.
Mm-hmm.
Like that was mandatory. That was like pregame. Because you just get in the zone. Like, it's like nothing else matters. Like, you're just, like, in the flow of the game.
You're just there. It's just me and the puck.
The drunk part was, like, just me being a fucking delinquent. But I just remember we were, like, doing suicides. Like, you know, you, like, go to, like, line to line to line, like, on a basketball court.
Oh, yeah, that's the worst.
Yeah, we did that with hockey. And I had been drinking. And, like, and then... my buddy just like he's like, have you been drinking? Because it was just because you're just pouring sweat in hockey, and it's just like I'm just like smell like in a fucking bar, and I'd never crossed my mind that would be, you know, what was happening. So we put the drinking down. We just kept up with the weed.
Yeah, I don't think that you can.
But I'm just trying to say that I wasn't falling around like on the skates.
Mandatory, because see, baseball wouldn't be good. There'd be no.
Yeah,
hits.
Baseball you would just miss the pitch.
Kickball, because kickball's already good, like slosh ball. So if there's like there's nothing
hold on, because baseball they would drink in the clubhouse during the games, like the Red Sox, 04 Red Sox. They were eating fried chicken and drinking beers in the clubhouse. Like
yeah, but I don't want to watch a bunch of. I mean, yeah.
But it wouldn't be funny. We're saying what would be the funniest.
Probably like hockey'd be up there. Everything else, I feel like if it's super competitive, because even I guess hockey.
But hockey is hockey. Like there's.
Yeah, I just want them if they're drunk, if they're like too drunk to like want to fight each other. That's what I'm saying. Because on like hockey, football, like you not swimming or diving, that would not be funny if everyone was wasted. That'd be dangerous. We'd be pulling people out of the pool left and right. I feel like they're already drunk. We wouldn't know. We wouldn't know if they were drunk.
But they're on ice, no skates, and they could be like falling down on their broom. And they're not. I don't know. Yeah, tough question.
I don't know. I don't like any of it.
Okay, so we're done with therapy questions. We're going to go on to the topics. Right before we do that, sound the alarm. Ding, 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 ding. Did we get another country? Yeah, I checked it right before we got on.
Oh, really? Which one?
We're creeping. We're creeping in on Putin's bitch ass. Now we have one of his allies, Belarus.
Oh, really? Belarus? Badass.
Belarusians listening to this right before they go out to Ukraine to get killed.
Don't say that. That's terrible.
But that's what's going to happen if they try.
Jesus, don't put that out there. Good Lord. Shout out Belarus.
They shouldn't be fucking around. But yeah, shout out Belarus.
I don't know if they really have a choice.
Well, that's true.
You're on my side. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Because they're tiny. Belarus is super small. That's wild. I mean, we've picked up so many countries at this point. It's
I
like
know.
it's a pretty big trip.
Yeah,
They're getting like farther away and smaller.
I know. I just like I went and looked. I was like, I'm sure that we don't have any other ones, and then it was like, oh, yep, here's another.
And
But
we've been
yeah,
really like picking up some listeners on like that side of the world lately, and like
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Southeast Asia.
We're creeping on them. We're flanking him
We're
from all
surrounding him.
sides.
We're
Yeah,
surrounding him. Yeah.
the pressure's getting tighter.
Sorry, man. I gotta grab some shit. Ugh. I'm drinking a beer today. I never drink beer, but I was like, I need something. I always have to have something when I do the podcast, some sort of beverage. You're a White Claw guy, so I know you always got a claw or something.
Yeah, but I
But
did
you're
have like
what?
I did have like an IPA on Saturday right after the Eagles game. I was
Yeah.
like, and I agree with you. I just can't handle them anymore. I'm just like, this is gross.
Yeah, I mean it's okay. I'm just like, because I never really liked beer to begin with. So
See, I was an IPA guy, but now I'm just like, it gets out of my face.
you were young and pretentious, and now you're just like, you realize it's like, I don't know if I want to spend like $16 on a beer. Like, are you sure, man? It's made with hops that the ghost of Rodney Dangerfield farted on. You're like, that guy's everywhere, dude.
I know, and he's
He's
still can't get no
blowing
respect for
up,
me.
dude.
No. What I did was
First
to me,
Dr. Seuss movies, now craft beer.
it was all about for me the switch from IPAs to hard seltzers. I did the math versus calories,
Yeah, I remember you talking about
carbs, and alcohol percentage. And I'm like, so how many of these can I drink and get this much alcohol percentage versus these? And then how many calories and carbs are involved in both? And I'm like, oh wait, you can drink like fucking 18 White Claws instead of 6 IPAs and you get way more drunk. Like, yeah, it's like
science.
I'm never gonna drink 18, but so therefore I'm gonna be starting to cut calories.
Yeah. You're crazy.
Set us
man.
up. Set us
All
up.
right, yeah. So one of them, I mean, it's been kind of crazy. Hold on, let me get this BS queued up. Get out of here with your ads. I'm not. They're always trying to get me to do like, oh, just give us $17 a year, and you can read this article. It's like, bro, just let me read it. I'm trying to educate myself. I'm just doing a little update on Mr. George Santos. I don't know if we've talked about him. I mean, I feel like not that we were one of the first, but we talked about this at length maybe 4 or 5 episodes ago. It was like, it's going to be crazy to see what fucking happens with this dude. And now a lot of people are getting a lot of pressure. People that did a lot of donor raising for him and just collected cash. And what is she? Elise Stefanik. What is she? The 4th ranking House Republican, was a super vocal supporter of him, helped him raise hundreds of thousands of dollars. And right now, a lot of these people are claiming that they had no idea that this guy was claiming he was not Jewish when he said that one of his family members was black. So he said he was part black, he was gay, he's Jewish, but he's not Jewish. He said like 9 different names. His mom died
in 9/11.
Yeah, which wasn't even in the country.
Let me jump on this because I just saw this. He just got caught on video saying that his shoes stolen and robbed from him in broad daylight in New York City, and then the other one is that he's gay, not gay. And remember, I told you I will bet you he's not actually gay. He just like is lying about it, and that sounded crazy because usually people lie and say they're straight when they're gay, especially when they're in Congress. And then they find this thing where he's dressed up in drag in Brazil. And then he's like, no, I wasn't a drag queen, but they have a picture of him as a drag queen. And then I'm like, oh, maybe he is gay.
Well, I mean, it's just weird. I feel like because he was married to a woman and divorced her a few weeks before the campaign started. So I feel like his first campaign. So I feel like he's just an opportunist and like the supreme scammer. Where if he knows that he can get some money from somebody or get an advantage, and if he says he's gay, then he will. And if he says that he is an equestrian and owns 6 horses, he'll say that. Like he's that guy that's always got a story. Oh, you and your uncle went deep sea fishing. Well, when I went, we caught a great white shark, and I had to stab it in the eye to kill it to keep my dad's leg from being bitten off. Like he's just like,
that's more than an opportunist though. There's like something wrong with this person.
no, definitely. But I mean, I think it starts out as that, and now he's just views it as he's become an opportunist. So he's used it for tons of different things. But there's people who are very upset, people who were key contributors to his campaign who endorsed him. I don't think he's allowed in the New York Republican like chambers. Like, where was it that he's not like they're like? I need to see where it is. Where
And I don't think he's allowed.
The NRCC and the New York GOP. That's
he's not allowed within 100 feet of a school. I know that.
Dude, it's one of the most interesting things. But this article, which it's from CNN, but it's really interesting because there's a lot of people that surrounded this guy who helped raise money for him, and it's apparent that this guy was a complete and total fraud. And the real question is who is aware of how much they knew about him being this big of a fraud. I think that all people, regardless of aisle, are always going to have, they're all kind of disingenuous. You have to have, there's something about, I just don't trust really any of them to a certain extent, but like this is like the epitome. This guy is the crest of just a fraud wave of everything that we complain about politicians being. This guy exemplifies all of that. And I do think he's an opportunist. If he can get you to vote for him, he will be whatever you want him to be. So if you want him to be gay or black or Jewish or
work at Goldman Sachs,
yeah, or super rich and have 13 houses, or you want him to be down and out and I'm just like you guys and I'm living in a 1-bedroom, he'll say whatever he can in that moment to like get that person's support. And it's like you can only do that so long before it's like you're an impossible person. This guy's like the ultimate impossible person. You can't be all of these things all at once. He'd be but he's like the ultimate victim though. It's like literally he's portrayed himself in a lot of ways over time to where like if somebody is in a different group or a different class, he's like aligned themselves up with like whatever victimization those people might have. So if you're Jewish, he can be like, oh, well, I feed into that. My grandparents were Jewish and they escaped Nazis in the Holocaust. And like they instantly are like, oh, well then this guy gets it because he struggles like us and so did his family. He has those ties. He's had those problems and issues that he deals with that on a day-to-day basis too. Wow, this guy's awesome. But people don't take me serious because I'm gay and I'm Brazilian, or I'm Brazilian and black, or or I'm a gay Jew. Like there's so many things that he tries to be that he just wants to be appealing to everybody, and he didn't know when to stop. It's kind of wild. And he represents Long Island, I believe.
Queens and Long Island.
Yeah, so I mean that's crazy to think. Like you can't do that for everybody. It's gonna bite you in the ass. That's totally what it's done. There's videos of him on podcasts saying all sorts of wild shit that he helped invent crap that he had nothing to do with. Of course, the Goldman Sachs, and
he stole money from a homeless veteran. It was a charity to get the homeless veteran's dog.
Yep.
Like a medical attention, and he did a GoFundMe for like $3,000 and just took the money.
Yeah, I mean, and there's a lot of people who are powerful Republicans who backed this guy, endorsed this guy for 2 campaigns, not one. He won the second time running for office. This wasn't the first time he'd ran. So I don't know how they can still let this guy hang around. And I mean,
because the Republicans are shameless, but also it's just they need his vote. They don't have enough votes. Like they like barely have enough votes in the House, like for a majority. Yeah. And it's also, of course, he's gonna keep lying if it's led him this far and there's been no consequences. And I think that's the bigger problem here. Is like it's like he's never got checked, and maybe that like. That's an indictment on like identity politics in the United States, where it's like you can say that you're Jewish and then people will like think about voting for you more than they would if you weren't, just because you're Jewish or because you're gay or because you're black, or and those are typically left like leaning constituents. So it's not just the right here who's like it's just, I think it's more of like maybe look into what somebody's actually going to do when they're in office, what their policies are, as opposed to do they look like me and do they have the same beliefs as me. It's like, well, what are they actually going to do in office, and ask those questions so you don't get caught up in like, oh, he's Jewish, so we're good.
Well, and I think that the big issue is there's a lot of people where them running for office and the things that they do in office is something that they're almost being told to say that that's what they're going to deal with. So whatever that hot button issue is right now, it's like immigration. They're like, well, I'm going to put sentient robots at the border to pick people up and take them back to their houses. And then everyone's like, yeah, they fall in line with whatever the big overall umbrella stance is, and they just explain, well, this is my random personal experience that I went through, or my thing, and that's why I feel this, or I talked to this person and they made me feel this way, and that's why I'm so strong. It's for that little Timmy John out by the border who had his ice cream cone stolen by a drug dealer. And that's like their stance on that. But in reality, like, that person probably is getting money and subsidies and a bunch of bullshit from somebody who owns a bunch of like tangerine farms down out by the border, and all they're hiring is people for pennies on the dollar to work for them who are there illegally. So they don't want them. Yeah.
It's also just like when you're running for student class president, and like when you're in 6th grade, you're like, I'm gonna make the vending machine free, and it's like, okay, well, how?
Like, good luck, bitch. Yeah, give me some Twix, dog. Peanut butter. They're 25 cents extra, and I don't want to pay it.
You know what I'm saying? Like, there's promising shit that they can't do.
Well, but yeah, I mean, so he is promising things to like an array of people, because it's a normally left-leaning area too. So it's almost like he had to lie and fabricate some details that would ingratiate himself with these people that normally wouldn't vote with him on certain issues.
Right. Yeah.
but then he still had just enough to get the people on the right to still vote for him too. Like, he might be gay.
A rainbow coalition, dude. It's a rainbow coalition.
Yeah, he might be gay and black and Jewish and a financial advisor genius and co-creator of the internet with Al Gore, but he's still super conservative. We can vote for him because he's going to he steps in line with Trump or whatever, or he's going to vote for McCarthy, right? Like, so it's whatever these 3 or 4 votes really decide a candidate's longevity. Certain things like hot button issues will get you a spot today.
Well, he told me that he was a pathological liar, and I identified with that, so I voted for him because I'm a pathological liar. He's a pathological liar.
That's fair.
I'm just kidding. But Trump would have voted for him if Trump didn't.
But I mean, everybody voted him. If Stefanik is endorsing,
at least Stefanik is a fucking nightmare. By the way, she is not a good person.
No, she's a shitty person. But I mean, now she's backed this dude, helped raise money for him, and that's really what this article is about. It kind of breaks down the lead up to him getting in office, but it's like these people were they had to have been aware at some point of all of this fraudulent stuff and still chose to back him if they did their due diligence and research as the New York GOP, like they should have. All of this stuff would have come up, because now there's people coming out of the woodwork with all sorts of receipts. There was a video of him at the parade, and like I said, it's not a big deal. Like, I have friends who do drag shows. They're badass. They have a fuck ton of fun. Like, it's great. That's a great part of culture. If that's like what you enjoy and whatever, like, do your thing. But to like lie about it and then take such hard stances against those things, and then there's video of you indulging in those things. It's just like Carrie Lake, who was anti-drag shows, but then there's pictures of her at drag shows. It's like you don't need to just demonize a whole group of people to go out there and get some votes because those people do. That doesn't mean it's right. Just to get them to vote for you doesn't mean that, gaslighting them into doing it is necessarily the right thing to do, or taking some false stance that's just like full of just ignorance and hate.
Okay, but also this is also a Trump move because it came out, the I'm gonna grab him by the pussy. That video came out before the election. Like, Stormy Daniels, all this, and then all of a sudden it becomes like every day there's something new. So then it's like each one of these things that he's lied about, either Trump or Santos, it's like they, in normal times, would be enough to destroy a politician. But because there's so many scandals, that it like waters all the scandals down. It's like people don't want to hear it anymore. They're just like, what's another thing? It's another thing. And then there's like, I don't care anymore,
Yeah, I mean, and there's been some rumblings in the phone calls are coming inside the house. Dan Goldman was calling on Stefanik to be more transparent after a dubious claim that she was unaware of George Santos's lies during the campaign. She says that this guy's saying that the statement directly contradicts public reporting in the GOP operatives who were directly involved in the situation. In her first public comment, her knowledge of Santos's lies, Stefanik stated on CNN that no one on her staff assisted in Mr. Santos' campaign, but her prior public reporting had asserted that a top political aide, not necessarily a staff member, assisted the campaign. The American people will not be fooled by this misdirection. Ms. Stefanik was Mr. Santos' most significant endorser and biggest supporter. As one of senior Republican strategists involved in the campaign before the midterms told CNN, Stefanik's team was laser focused on electing Santos to Congress more than just about any other race in the country. So that's where they're kind of, it's like, that she was aware of this. Another quote from the same gentleman: Ms. Stefanik even went as far as to convince suspicious donors to support Mr. Santos, including one who told CNN that she was swayed by Ms. Stefanik, despite misgivings about Mr. Santos, after Mr. Santos falsely told her that Donald Trump had endorsed him. So he was like, "Oh, Trump endorsed me." She was like, and that wasn't true. And she's like, "I don't know." And then Stefanik's like, "Nah, bro, you got to do it." She knew about Mr. Santos.
It's Herschel Walker. It's Herschel Walker if he didn't get caught before he got elected.
Yeah, that's basically it. This is basically, and I think maybe that's why they kept pushing Herschel Walker out there, was to distract from the fact that this guy's absolutely nuts. Oh, but I gotta miss Herschel Walker. I mean, I'm glad he's not in, but it was just like comical. It wasn't, because it was kind of gross. Like, I felt bad. He was
scary.
Well, I felt bad for him. I mean, he's obviously not 100%. Like, he's been through a lot. He's done MMA and football, and he's just
stuck a gun to his wife's head.
Yeah, I mean, he's done all sorts of dumb.
I feel bad for him.
No, what I'm talking about is the fact that he's done horrible things. So I'm not sitting here saying that he's a good person, but you can feel bad for bad people in the sense that, like, now he's being like masqueraded as like this puppet. Like, that dude needs help. Like he needs help. He doesn't need to be running for political office. And the fact
let alone the fucking U.S. Senate.
Well, and the fact that you think you can roll him out there and people are going to actually vote for him in Georgia just because he's black. It's like, and then you're going to try to demonize a pastor and make it seem like he's the bad guy. Well, I was trying to say, if I wanted to say he has like he has a doctorate, he's a PhD, so he's like super smart. And like, as far as we know, like, not, paying for abortions and sending, get well cards with hot dogs on them or whatever.
He's just a pastor at Martin Luther King Jr.'s church. That's what he is. Versus Herschel Walker.
So what I'm just saying is, like, yeah. So maybe that Herschel Walker thing was it distracted a lot of people from this. What else did it say?
But wouldn't you rather the Senate than the House? I mean, they would have, the Senate came down to like one or two candidates. Like, the House came down to like 5 or 6.
Well, that's why, people, that's crazy. I mean, Stefanik's got a lot of influence in the party. I mean, there's some people who, I mean, if she could have garnered the votes, people probably might have been like, oh, she should be speaker. I mean, there's just people like her for some weird reason. She's awful, but she's awful because she is tactful and does a lot of shady shit and has no qualms. She'll win it. She wants to win at all costs. That's basically where she's at.
She's a smarter MTG or Bobart,
Yeah, and he represents. He said New York City's become the epithet of a shithole, to keep it polite. Like, that's what I'm saying. This dude's like, talk shit about the people he represents. It's just like, it's mind blowing that he's able to go out there, blatantly lie. Oh, was never in drag. That's not me. And then he's like, oh, I was at a parade and I was having a good time. Looks like we're losing Mr. Goody. Mr. Goody, everybody. He's about to go pee. Maybe. But right, there's something wrong. People out there, people in chat, there's something wrong, or people just listening to the podcast. Like, if, regardless of where you fall in the political aisle, there's got to be some sort of transparency and accountability when it comes to stuff like this. There's got to be people that were in that room that were aware this guy was kind of a scumbag. And rather than doing anything about it, they continued to enable him to reach this point. To where now, he's like, I'm not going anywhere. He's sitting on his hill, which I get. I mean, I don't think you can walk away from that. If you do, you gotta leave the country and change your name again. I mean, not that would be easy for him, but he's actually kind of doing the harder thing and sticking around and sticking with the name and kind of just fucking dealing with it. But this could be bad for middle of the road leadership and people that are that enabled him to reach this point. If it's ever proven that there's other people who are aware and perpetuated his frauds, I mean, I don't know. We've seen recently that it kind of doesn't matter sometimes what you do. You can still get reelected. But, you know, if it comes out that these people are blatantly involved in perpetuating these lies and raising money under false pretenses, that could be a really big issue for some people getting reelected, especially if the old establishment, let's say Trump doesn't get reelected, and it's not Joe Biden, it's fucking Raskin. Yeah, it's Raskin. Raskin becomes president. That'd be so epic. But let's say like there's the old establishment or the deep state or whatever you want to call it. People who've been involved in politics more than like 6 weeks and aren't full of shit when it comes to like their names and where they come from. Those people are going to try to get these motherfuckers out of there. If it's making them look bad, I mean, this party's in such a...
They have no shame, bro. They don't care.
No, but I think some of them do. And I think that in the long-term goals, I think that some of them realize that they're pushing people more and more away. I mean, I'm not going to pull the clip up because you can't hear it, but they talked to a bunch of like young people, like first-time voters who are able to vote on this next election cycle about how they feel about Mr. Santos. And it's not that great. Like, they think it's ridiculous. The fact that no one's calling for him to leave or actively trying to be like, dude, get the fuck out of here. It just shows like the hypocrisy and the lack of overall integrity when it comes to like, we just want the fucking vote. It's win at all costs.
That's what I'm saying. Like you feel like you're still giving the Republicans credit for caring what their voters care about.
No, I think that there's some people in the Republican Party, because there are some, like the rest of the New York GOP who's like, this motherfucker's not allowed in our building. Like there's some people who are just disgusted. Like that's what I'm saying is his issues and his transgressions transcend political aisle. So there's a lot of people on the right who should be like be wanting to get rid of him to retain some credibility. Like you're fixing the mistake that you guys did in supporting him, because you can't say it was the right thing to support him unless you just want his vote. Otherwise, it was wrong in supporting this guy who's stealing money from veterans and lying about where he is and where he's from. And
they all still support a guy who tried to steal a fucking election. This is what it is. The Democrats stand up for something, and the Republicans stand in line. They don't. They're just like, whatever the party bosses are telling us to get on board with, we're getting on board with. Whereas the Democrats, and probably why they're not as successful as they should be, is like they're willing to like disagree with the party brass, you know, like and it's just so.
But not all of them. A lot of the real powerful and influential ones, some of them have left. They've retired. They've quit because
that's right. They quit.
They allowed themselves to be primaried because they knew that some crazy lady who in Wyoming is going to take Liz Cheney's seat. And I don't like Liz Cheney, the Cheney family and all that brand. Right. I'm not into that.
So
but when it comes to like some level,
but
when it comes to some level of like integrity within politics, she has way more than like the woman that replaced her in her seat, who's never done that before and used to work for the National Park Services and actively worked in trying to repeal legislation so they could tear up like national forests.
This is a decade. This is a decades-long trend with the Republican Party where they were crazy a long time ago, and now they're even more crazy. Where Marjorie Taylor Greene, who is a 9/11 truther, is on the committee, heading the Committee of Homeland Security. Like, what do we? You know, it's insanity.
Well, that's the deal that they made with the devil to get McCarthy as speaker, and he sits on two. He sits on like a small business committee and something else. So he got 2 committee appointments, despite being completely full of shit and lying about who he was.
Oh,
they still put him on. Yeah, they still put him on 2 committees, and that's just what I'm saying is there's people who are completely opposed to this who are in the party. Like this is beyond the crazy that we're used to. This is beyond the scope of crazy.
I don't know, dude.
No. This is beyond. No, because like at least Marjorie Taylor Greene's like an actual person, and that's her fucking name, and we know like what she's like transparent to an extent about who the fuck she is and where she's been and what she's done with her life and what jobs she's had and like where her money comes from. At least we know she filed her tax. No, well now but up until she got into office, then it was just it's a free for all. But at least he can't even. There's potential fraud claims against him. Stuff. The Brazilian government's looking for him from other fraud scams. They just couldn't find him. They're like, hey, we're looking for that guy. They literally were like, hey, we're reopening this investigation. Like, we could actively extradite him to Brazil, and he'd probably be arrested when he got off of a plane. That's beyond the scope of crazy. This dude's like a career criminal and like scammer. He's like
I'm surprised that you're surprised that that they would allow this to happen.
Well, I'm surprised. I'm not surprised. I'm surprised that they're allowing this to happen because it could be the potential implosion of their party as a whole. Because when you allow these people to come in here, you lack credibility. He makes them less credible than before he was elected.
The patients are running the asylum. That's what Kevin McCarthy is kind of a psycho. Like, he just puts on a shit-eating grin, and he just like doesn't sound like it all the time. But he, like 15 years ago, dude, this guy is like fringe.
No, well, he had to buy into the fringe to maintain his position so he could get the job he always wanted. So he sold his soul for the position. And now he has to play the part. Otherwise, they'll vote him the fuck out. They made it easier to do it.
One person can put him up for vote. So he's not really the speaker, to be honest.
No.
Marjorie Taylor Greene gets upset, one day, like, because McCarthy, like, talked to, I don't know, like, Boebert. Did you see that MGT, Marjorie Taylor Greene, and Boebert fought each other in a bathroom recently? Like, Jesus Christ.
They had some shouting match. Marjorie Taylor Greene would beat her ass, by the way.
I know. She's beat my ass. You know what I'm saying? Come over here, boo.
Like CrossFit mom, dude. She'd beat the shit out of you.
I think she's
out of Boebert's little skinny ass. But I mean, at the end of the day, she's just she's like a twiggy.
Just the fact that they're fighting
Colorado
each other
woman.
like in the house, like, is insanity. It's like I thought we got done with that like 1840.
No, I mean, you're talking about two people who are advocating for like, I can bring my gun in here. Why can't I bring my gun in here?
Or Marjorie Taylor Greene saying, like, if she was the one running January 6th, they would have all been armed.
Yeah.
Sick.
Yeah.
But you're thinking Santos is like the most crazy. It's like
crazy. Obviously, because Santos is just as crazy because he supports it, but it's the fact that nobody knows who he actually fucking is and what he's done to get to this point. That's what makes it beyond crazy, is because if he was a wrestler, it'd be George Santos from Parts Unknown. Like, he'd be a Parts Unknown wrestler right now. Nobody knows who the fuck he is or where he's from or what his jobs actually were, where his money came from, who he stole from, who he didn't. Like, we have no idea. Like, everything's all like
a security risk. It's a security risk because now he's open to, like, foreign intelligence agencies, like putting him in a bad spot where it's like, we know.
Well, and obviously, like, but they didn't like, obviously, like, the bar got lowered whenever they've like passed it, whenever, like, with certain people, in my opinion, that hold position on that side of the aisle in like the Congress or Senate. I think Matt Gaetz is a scumbag, and I think he's kind of a creeper and looks like Quagmire. There's like a lot of dudes that are just, like, people I don't agree with that I would say are completely fringe. The fact that we know who they are and we have no idea who this guy is, and he's lining up with the fringe, it's just enabling. It empowers other people who are just as batshit crazy to decide that they want to go do it. So what I'm saying is, if Marjorie Taylor Greene inspired a George Santos, and Santos is worse.
I think Donald Trump did.
No, I mean, Donald Trump inspired the Marjorie Taylor Greenes. And then he sees somebody else who's saying crazier shit than he is. And then he's up there saying even crazier shit. He said crazier shit than any of them because it was all lies. Every single thing that guy said is a lie. From like, that'd be like Marjorie Taylor.
You're saying that because we know that Matt Gaetz's Venmo account, where he's sending money to underage girls.
Yeah.
Yeah, you think that's better than not knowing anything about Santos?
Well, there's stories of Santos like being like, when he was younger, taking advantage of older people, older women, and like hustling them for their money, or squatting in younger guys' houses whenever he was in like his mid to late 20s, crashing on some like 19-year-old dude's house in some weird relationship. So I'm just saying, is the fact that in a way we know more about him now,
Like, I don't know what Matt Gates's mom, if she died in 9/11 or not. I don't know. Like,
No,
you know,
man, no, dude. There's no comparison. There's nobody that compares even close to what this George Santos guy is doing. And like, you
okay,
can't. No, like, because at least we know like who these people the fuck are and
we
what
think
their
we do.
names. No, I mean we know where they came from to a better extent than him. Because
I
he's got
mean,
1,000 different names. He's on video on 1,000 different TV shows and podcasts under different names. He literally commented on some article under one of his pseudonyms and was talking about how he was a drag performer and a drag queen and like is blatantly saying that he's not. It's like the level of like I can't stop lying and can't stop making shit
yeah,
up is
yeah,
like it's something like we've never seen. Like this is beyond the pale of Matt Gaetz because it's under investigation. He's innocent until proven guilty, and he's going through that process. And we'll just leave it at that. Do I think that there's a lot more to it, and he shouldn't be holding office? Absolutely. But are they going through the process? Sure. What is the process for somebody who's lied about their entire identity as a person on such a level that they try to identify with every type of person that's ever existed? Like they're like no one. He's like a fucking camel of like a person where it's like he's like he's a politician by committee. He's lied about every single thing that's ever existed to the point to where it's like they say if you made a horse by a committee you'd have a camel because it would like last long. There'd be so many things that it wouldn't make sense. And like
well, that's why I called it a rainbow coalition, because that's what they used to like the Jesse Jackson and stuff would call it, like where it's like we're gonna get people, just big tent under the Democratic Party, where it's like, you know, we're from all walks and lives, like gay, black, straight, whatever.
yeah.
Yeah. So that's what he's just a rainbow coalition in himself. He's gay, Jewish, black,
Well,
white.
yeah, no, but it's like he's just
He's his own rainbow coalition.
yeah, but he's like a horse by committee. So he's like a camel of a politician, where it's like every single thing that you could ever think that you would antithesize in a lying politician is this fucking dude. From his ethnicity, his religious background, his sexual orientation, where his
Family
money comes
history.
from, family history, like geographical birthplaces. Like this dude's so full of shit that it's unbelievable that he made it this far. And to like go back to the article, like that's what this article is about. It's like it's so blatantly obvious, and it didn't take people that long to start yanking receipts and finding videos of this dude talking about the most random stuff that completely contradicts, and he looks like such a scammer because it's like his attire or his style alters just a little bit to where he's got glasses that he doesn't have glasses, or he's got coiffed hair and then it's short, or he's wearing hats. Like he's like it's always like he's in some sort of disguise, like he's hiding from people that are looking for him because he doesn't want to look like the last identity he just had. It's fucking weird. It's fucking
Dude,
crazy.
I wonder if he's like smarter than we realize.
Dude, there's gonna be I mean, he's obviously fairly smart to have made it this far, but it's like how many people were aware of it and it enabled him to make it even farther to the point to where it was like he has some sort of political power.
I think that would be the only reason why he gets bounced, is if they know that it's gonna come onto them.
Well, and that's
yeah. It's just gonna be. It's not because they care about ethics and like lying. It's like, oh, it's gonna make me look bad.
Yeah, I don't
know because I helped them out.
No, absolutely. Yeah, it's like I'm gonna look like a douche because I helped raise money for this guy and I was aware that he was lying, and that's where it's like with Stefanik, it looks like it's beyond the pale of like win at all costs. Fuck it. If we can get him in here and they figure it out later, we won't vote him out. We just need the vote because it's too close to call. I mean, that's a seat we can flip.
Right. That's 100% a seat. Yeah. Exactly. Okay. You want to move on to the next article?
Nah, man, that's just a hot topic, but yes, we can. I apologize. Boom. How these dog walkers make over $100K a year. This article is by the New York Times, and it's about people that walk dogs and made a shit ton of money off of it. Kind of pissed me off, and I don't like how it started. It's like dressed in black leggings and a puffer jacket, of course. That's like the most New York dog walker outfit I've ever heard.
No, I actually went on a first date at Starbucks.
How many first dates do you have in a week?
And she told me that she was going to be wearing a puffer jacket and yoga black pants. And I was like, okay, so I'm never going to find her, because it was just like a sea of 30 women wearing the exact same thing. So we just never went on the date.
Really? You never found her?
I'm just kidding, dude.
I was like, damn, that's epic. She didn't like look for you. You were just like, that's like that. Come find me.
She just was like, this is what I'm wearing, and I'm like, okay.
I see you. You can't see me. Come find me. Nah, dude, that's a red flag and a half, dude.
No, she didn't say that, and that didn't happen.
That'd be.
It was like a joke. It was like a joke I made like 6 years ago on Facebook or something.
Well, this woman, Miss Lane, I think there's two people, talks about how she started walking dogs 11 years ago after graduating from Rutgers and moving to New York City. Yeah, man, this is like a lick. I mean, this article is interesting because that's a shit ton of money. I mean, I don't know about.
I don't think it's a lick because it's New York City, right?
Well, yeah, you didn't let me finish. Like, as in New York standards in Texas, you'd be living big if you had $100K a year in Texas. Boy, let's take out the four-wheelers. But I mean, she was saying how she would charge. She quoted one customer $35 a walk. We walked dozens of clients, and she expects to have more than 6 figures this year. And most of them really started like, oh, someone asked me, they saw me walking my dog and asked me to help, or if I could walk theirs too, because we lived in the same building, and I charged them like $40 a day. And now I have like 100 people that work for me. But I don't know if I'd want to be driving around. Well, I guess you can't really drive. You have a small radius. You could only go so far in New York, right? You're not going to drive all the way across, like borough to borough, to like, because no one drives there to begin with.
No, I know, but what do you mean? Like, you're not going to drive? Like, you mean to pick up the dogs?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like they'd be local. You'd have like, that's why if you had more employees and you expanded, like you were spread out. But like if you were just one person, I mean, it talks about there, like we were walking dogs like 9 to 10 hours a day, chasing down dogs. Like,
yeah, but that could be like you're just your building, you know, and then nobody has a backyard, so everybody has a need for this. And then if they see that you're trusted with one dog, then you could be trusted with two, and then it just, it's the referral business, homie.
Yeah,
the rich get richer. The dog walkers walk more dogs.
Yeah, it's like I had to pay my student loans and my rent, so I went on Craigslist. I saw that somebody would pay me to walk dogs. As an animal lover who was obsessed with dogs, it was perfect. It was perfect. As business took off, she finally whistled and wagged in 2014 as a boutique pet care service in West Village. It's a good spot to be walking dogs. At one point, she was working 12-hour days, and she was able to pay off her student loans and hire other dog walkers. Now, nearly 3 years later, after the start of the pandemic, she can't keep up with the demand. She's quoted, after raising her rates, she quoted 1 to 35 and taking dozens of new clients. She expects to make 6 figures. So that's nice. I mean, she made a little bit of a life for herself. That just seems like a lot. That seems, I don't know.
Well, doesn't it seem like that your business would go down as a dog walker during the pandemic? Because now everybody's home, so they can just walk their dog and get out of the house.
Yeah, but I mean, some people might not want to. They might be so afraid to go out that they don't even want to risk it.
Oh yeah, that or they're in the middle of work anyways, so it's like they can't. Yeah.
Yeah, and like if you're a dog walker, I mean, whenever they implement martial law, and Jade Helm, Jade 21 or whatever the hell that crazy FEMA conspiracy was from years ago, then you gotta be doing business to go outside. So guess what? I'm a dog walker. Let's go, man. I can walk around all day. So that'd be a good loophole. If you had to have a work pass to leave, you could be like, I'm a dog walker. So that'd be kind of chill.
Do you think that there's like people exploiting that, like that out in China where they're having like the
complete that's smart lockdown? If you are. I mean, yeah, maybe. Or
they're just like your dog's fucked, can't go outside.
What is
either.
it? I mean, total sidebar. Like they said, like 80% of their population has got COVID. I was reading that today.
I was surprised.
No, but I mean, it's just pretty nuts. I would have told myself I could make a living walking dogs. I would have never believed it. It's a lucrative. Searches on RoverDog. Charge the lowest $14 for a 30-minute walk. Seasoned dog walkers with well-heeled clients are charging nearly 3 times as much. There's one.
Yeah, 14 seems light.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, that's light.
Round it up to 20 for a 30-minute walk. I'll do 30 for an hour or something like that.
Yeah, where is it? Here it is. Among those looking to capitalize on the moment is Michael Joseph, 34, special needs teacher in Brooklyn who used to train Willie, his mixed black Labrador, at Prospect Park after school. After 3 months, I could ride my bike into the park, and he would run behind me. And people saw our rapport and asked me if I could train their dog. In 2019, he quit his teaching job, started charging 20 minutes for a group walk. Within a month, he had about 8 clients. working for 5 hours a day to make about $30K. Business came to a halt during the pandemic lockdowns of 2020, but since he has rebounded. In 2020, we've been rocking it. We use mostly downtown Brooklyn clients around Prospect Park. We see dog neighborhoods, Windsor Terrace and Didymus Park. This is where it is. He offers puppy training $60 for 1 hour, pet sitting for $65 a day, 15-minute puppy check-ins, $12.
Does it like you're not going to be checking in?
Well, maybe often? That's like they like go by your place and go in and check on your little dog and feed it. So like they just go by your place. Like, oh, all right, hey, your dog's good. You know, like if you ever watched like your buddy's cat when they were out of town when you were kids, and you would like go feed their cat for them, and they'd give you like $20 a day. Never happened. That's some South Lake shit.
No, I've done that like with house sitting or something, or like, but not like a cat.
Oh, well, normally, yeah, I gotcha. Normally, well, now I guess as an adult, it's like, hey man, watch my dog. I'm gonna go do coke at the Harris in New Orleans. I need you to watch my dog, bro.
Why'd you look at me when you said that?
Because I'm looking at the camera. The biggest thing is financial security for our fund. But what's interesting is as they continue to talk, like it comes off like they're like kind of pretentious business owners. Like they've obviously like done well, but now they're kind of full of themselves, these dog walker guys. We went to Miami. Went to a wedding. We had a 6-day trip to Disney World with the whole family.
With all the money they made?
With our whole families down there. Yeah, like so they're just talking like, yeah, we walk all these dogs, we get in this cheddar, basically. It's interesting. I mean, that's pretty cool to have 700 clients, 25 dog walkers for these other people. Walkers in New York, along with additional 13 walkers in Chicago. So that's what a lot of them are talking about is expanding. I mean, that's like low overhead. It's not going to cost you a bunch of money. It's not going to cost you a shit ton to get that started.
The one thing that crossed my mind is what happens when something goes wrong and a dog dies. Like, what kind of...
There's got to be some sort of insurance waiver and a liability
thing.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. So,
yeah, you'd have to.
That's how the overhead gets a little bit more expensive when you're, having lawyers type up shit like that.
Yeah, but pretty interesting. I mean, it was a cool little article. I was like, oh, and this one guy's funding his movie career and making short films with the extra cash. So I'm done.
Womp.
Yeah.
Womp. He's doing a documentary on him walking dogs. Womp.
Yeah. Well, not on him walking dogs, on something else.
Yeah, that was him like pitching the New York Times. He's like, oh, by the way, I'm an actor. Yeah,
oh, by the way, I make movies, and you should check them out. I have these 2 podcasts.
Instagram handle is
I do have these 2 podcasts that I do every week, and you should watch them and listen and subscribe. Kind of like what we're doing. Hey,
yeah. He's probably not even a dog walker. That's George Santos, in that article.
Yeah, George Santos is like, I actually started the dog walking business.
Yeah, before I stole the money from the guy from the dog.
Yeah, I used to be his dog walker, and he owed me a bill, and that's why I stole that piece of shit's dog.
Like, wasn't he homeless? Like, yep, I just still asked me to walk him.
Yep, still.
Homeless people,
Can't turn a dog down. It's the Santos way. But then I wasn't going by George Santos. I was going by Ezekiel. Ezekiel Johnson.
Jorge.
Yeah. Jorge Ramon. Really? Yep, Jorge Ramon. All right, article number 3.
Final article, y'all.
How Charlie Javis got J.P. Morgan to pay $175 million for what exactly? A young founder promised to simplify the college financial aid process. It was a compelling pitch, especially now seems likely that those with little firsthand knowledge of financial aid. So, long story short, it's a long-ass article, man. I was reading this. I was like, good Lord, it keeps on going. But there was this girl, Miss Javis. She started, where did she go? She went to Wharton College, and came up with the idea of starting this company that would help with financial aid, and make it easier for people and save money on their tuition. If I read that correctly, is that what you ascertained from what she was doing?
Yeah, I mean, that's what she's supposed to be doing.
Yeah, supposed to be doing, but wasn't, and basically came up with this idea. Where was it? I was kind of confused by what they were pissed off about, because their company's name was Frank, and they had a web address that was super confusing for a lot of people because it implied they named it something similar to that has to do with, where is it? Sorry, I gotta find this shit. Yeah, they were frankfasa.com, promising maximum financial aid guaranteed. If we don't save you at least $1,000 on of tuition, we'll refund you. Go premium for $10 a month. Cancel anytime. Was what one of these things was. Credit scores involving complex state and financial regulations, and after 18 months, Javis realized that building a new system and complying with the rules would be too expensive. I fired all my employees, she said in the Medium interview. It was the worst thing worst thing I've ever had to do. A lot of my employees were close friends, and they still won't talk to me to this day. Behind the scenes, the U.S. Department of Education had quickly taken notice and was not pleased that FASA, which stands for Free Application and Federal Student Aid, is a registered trademark, and the department didn't take kindly to Frank's use of it. So that's what it is. They kind of like bullshit hashtagged that, man, like with their website. But their website was misleading, and they were using something that was a registered trademark. 2018, they reached an agreement, and they basically had to hand over the web address to the Department of Education. Dude, that's hardcore. What did you think about this? Before I get more into it, I mean, it seems like you know, I think every good idea starts out with someone wanting to do something nice, and then they get.
I mean, yeah, maybe. I mean, just because we've been talking about Santa so much that it just, you know, is this a scam? But you know, what's a scam is higher education and the prices for it. That's what the fucking scam is.
No, but you created a scam within the scam.
I know. Well, that's
like yes, Trump University. So she's like she would be the head of tuition for Trump University.
Right. You know, but no, that's even more scammy. But no, just like, you know, the amount, like, increase of what it costs like people to go to college over the last 40 years has like outpaced every single other industry, and it's like, and their overhead hasn't gone up, you know, so what the fuck.
Yeah. Where was it? Under agreement, they had removed the trademark term from titles, handles, usernames of each and every one of its social media accounts. It also could not use the term Frank's FASA anymore, since it did not ever and had never belonged to Frank. A Frank co-founder wasn't happy either. Adi Omesi, who has served as chief technical officer, sued her in Israel over compensation. He eventually received a settlement, according to the Israeli newspaper The Marker. So this is where she originally got in trouble. Like I said, it was kind of like clickbaiting her website, to get people to think that it was something official. Come to find out, it's all bullshit. So she was listed on 2019's 30 under 30 finance list, and she made the Business New Yorker's 40 under 40 list. She has done her homework, is what Cranes. Where is
I've got friends on that list. Our Matt Gatto was on that list. Our class president.
Yeah, no, that I believe.
No, he was.
No, I know. Like that would make sense. Like,
but yeah, I've got one on 40 under 40.
But not everyone agreed. Wesley Whistle, who worked on American Pie, blog posted. So where is it where she got in trouble? So basically, what ultimately got her in trouble is her company started blowing up like some crypto bullshit scam, and she was being deemed as some genius without people really doing their due diligence. And she was
Theranos.
This is kind of like some Theranos shit, because she then decided that she would lie. So whenever JP Morgan Chase wanted to purchase this company, pretty quickly whenever it started to blow the fuck up, she had attached herself to things that, like, she said that there was, Frank said 448 courses were available at Kessler University, a 40-year-old school in the campuses of Florida, which didn't exist. So they were unaware that their classes were even listed. Lee University, a Christian school in Cleveland, Tennessee, were unaware that 317 classes that Frank had listed on their website. They only have 248 online courses, so they were just passing out fake courses to people. or taking their money and lying about it. And all these schools are being like, we have no affiliation with them, and we're cooperating to try to figure out what's going on. Well, while doing this, she had a data analyst inflate all of her numbers and make it seem like she had at least, what was it, like 5,000 subscribers, like 5,000 different, or was it the promise of 5 million customers in 6,000 schools. That's what it was. So she said she had up to 5 million customers without them really doing their due diligence, and that 6,000 schools were lined up with what she was doing with Frank in this tuition assistance, which was all full of shit. And they bought it from her for $175 million. And after they did it, they got while getting all the information, they went through her emails and all of the information, and it came out that they'd bought essentially a scam. They bought like a Ponzi scheme.
See, it doesn't even make sense that universities would get on board with this, because the United States government provides federal loans, and the universities know that those federal loans, no matter if defaulted on or not, are backed by the United States. So that's why the prices of tuition keep going up, because they know even if these kids can't afford it, we're still going to get the money. And so, like, why the fuck would they want to find out like a efficient way for you to do this? Like, get the least amount, or pay them the least amount of money. Like, I mean, come on, J.P. Morgan. Come on, Jamie Dimon. That's right.
Yeah, soon after the merger closed, the bank took its shot and sprayed what? J.P. Morgan wanted a pipeline of soon-to-be educated young adults. It was paying $35 per name, $175 million divided by those 5 million customers. To pay that much, it would have a lot of confidence. They must have had a lot of confidence in its marketing team would be able to persuade Frank customers to do business with the bank and stick with it for decades. So that's what J.P. Morgan Chase saw. They saw the opportunity to purchase this company, for
the data,
not just for the data, but for the potential of retaining these customers down the line. So like, you can go through this program that we own and it's backed by us. And if you choose to do this, maybe you decide to stay with Chase when you get a mortgage, when you get out.
So it's like a customer acquisition thing, and it's like,
yeah,
and it's for pennies on the dollar. 175 million to them is like a fart. It's a poor bowel movement, like on a Thursday at 6 a.m. It's like that's nothing.
Yeah, well, soon after the merger closed, the bank took its shot and sprayed a portion of Frank's customers list with solicitations. Of 400,000 outbound emails, only 28% successfully arrived at an inbox, compared with the usual 99% delivery rate. Moreover, just 103 recipients clicked a link to Frank's website. It was, as the bank put it in a legal filing, disastrous. An investigation ensued, and the bank dived into Mrs. Janice's Frank email account, where they found a litigation motherlode, is what they called it. The messages, according to the bank, included copious evidence that she had hired a data science professor to create fake information to provide to the bank that the millions of customers Frank claimed to have were real. Highlights from those emails also included Frank's engineers questioning Mrs. Jarvis's data manipulation on request. She responded she didn't think anyone would end up in an orange jumpsuit over it. But I don't know if they will.
Yeah, I mean, maybe not. I mean, you're just ripping off like J.P. Morgan, and they deserve it if they didn't do their due diligence, or maybe they just thought it'd be cheaper just to go with it and find out later if it was real or not. I mean, think about Wells Fargo opening up accounts in people's names without them knowing. Like these big banks aren't like above like these retail scams.
They're allowed to still exist, man.
They're still my banker.
Oh, what? You're wild.
Open up some new accounts. I need the money.
No, they're gonna take it. Nicholas Baez, a spokesperson for the U.S. Attorney's Office for the Southern District of New York, declined to comment on whether it had opened an investigation into these claims. So J.P. Morgan Chase is basically like, yo, this bitch sold us a scam and ripped us off, and they're trying to get someone to fucking do something about it. They tried to like renege on the negotiations and like take it back, and she's like, nah, eat a dick, like anybody would. Yeah. Dear scammer, give me back my money. Block. Ms. Javiz has retained Alex Spiro, co-chair of the investigation's government enforcement and white-collar defense practice at the law firm Quinn Emanuel to represent her. He is currently defending Elon Musk in an investor lawsuit about his comments on Twitter.
That's so funny because I was just about to say this is a lot like Elon Musk,
Yeah.
who has got bots that are his like followers on Twitter, and it's like he's like, oh, I got 100 million like followers, and it's like, no, you don't.
And she has filed her own lawsuit seeking legal expenses, arguing that J.P. Morgan conducted an internal investigation for which it is contractually obligated to cover her costs. After J.P. Morgan Chase rushed to acquire Charlie's rocket ship business, J.P. Morgan Chase realized they couldn't work around the existing student privacy laws, committed misconduct, and then tried to retrade the deal. Mr. Spiro said. Charlie blew the whistle and then sued. J.P. Morgan's newest suit is nothing but a cover. The statement did not deny Mrs. Javis falsified data and then lied about it, so Mr. Spiro sent another one. We deny allegations. J.P. Morgan Chase knows that what they filed is regulatory and misleading. They were provided all the data up front for the purchase of Frank. And Ms. Javis highlighted the restrictions placed on student privacy laws during due diligence. When they couldn't work around these privacy laws after the purchase of Frank, J.P. Morgan Chase then began twisting the facts to cover their tracks and are falsely accusing her to retrade the deal. I mean, it sounds like she's full of shit. Like it's like buying bad weed from a weed dealer and you call the cops, be like, he ripped me off.
Right.
Like, y'all are both ripping people off. You bought this with the intent of ripping people off, and now you're just upset that you can't. I mean, come on. Hey, man, we'll get them. They can get their student loans through us, and then maybe they'll never leave. Like, come on.
That's customer acquisition, and they're paying $35 a person is what the math came out to for 5 million people. So you get their name, you get their what's going on with their finances that's already taken care of, and then you have potentially, let's say your rate of keeping them is, I don't know, 20%. That's 1 million people that you just got on board for 175 million. Like, that's
no. I mean, I get why. I'm just saying it's funny that they bought it with that intent, and they ended up all being bots.
Yeah,
because
they get to get got. You get to get got.
Yeah, and that's where it is. It's like, it's like two drug dealers robbing each other, and one of them calling the cops and be like, he came over here and stole my drugs, and they'd be like, you sell drugs? Like, they don't, like, that's where they'd have no comment. I mean, they might look into it, but if they claim they did due diligence and you had access to all of this and you chose to buy it without doing your due diligence, I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, that's egg on your face, homie.
Yeah, that sounds like you guys bought it and were like, oh man, we're in it to win it. And then you sent like a spam email and got a lot of returns like this mailbox does not exist. And you got really freaked the fuck out.
You got pissed. Like, oh no, this doesn't happen to us.
And like only 104 people actually clicked a link on her site, but it's like a clickbait site. So, I mean, she might have had more clicks when she was clickbaiting, but you know.
I mean, this is kind of what I'm saying about like Elizabeth Holman Theranos is, she only ripped off white rich people. Like, nobody got really hurt from it. So shout out to her, and shout out to this woman. Like, you just ripped off like a hedgie, like,
Yeah, and I mean, and that's where it's like she just ripped off one hedgie as opposed to like ripping off.
She didn't fuck over 5 million like college kids,
Yeah,
they didn't exist.
I mean, she fucked over the people that give loans to college kids and are predatory as fuck.
Gosh. It's not even a rounding error, 175 million for those assholes.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, she's kind of like, obviously it's skeevy what she did, but she's kind of like a college tuition Robin Hood. But the fact that she was misleading people from the beginning is where she loses me. So like from the genesis, she's full of shit. Am I upset that she ripped off JP Morgan Chase? No. And I mean, that's not the end of the world for me. But
not even close.
You can tell that she had malicious intent, no matter who it was, because she was acting predatory from the beginning.
But as long as she was, her goal the whole time was just to get to one of the big 4 banks or whatever,
and sell it off,
then shout out her.
Yeah, mission accomplished.
I'd hire her.
Oh yeah, I mean, she's someone you want in the room on your side. Yeah, definitely.
It's a hustler.
That's hardcore, man. But yeah,
like if you're gonna rob a bank, go rob a big one.
Yeah, but I pulled that up. I thought you'd get a kick out of this article because people are just they bought it too quickly. They didn't pay attention, and they didn't, know what they were getting into.
I know you would think that, yeah, they could get like 2 lawyers to look into this before they fucking pull the
Wait,
trigger.
hold on. There's one thing. In an interview in 2018 interview, Mr. Where is it? Where is it? Bobby Turner. Where did that pop up? So there's this guy, Bobby Turner. 2018, Mr. V described Bobby Turner, founder of an investment firm, as one of the most impactful people in my life so far. When she was having a hard time, she told the publication Mr. Turner, who was an investor in Frank, would make her promise to do 3 things every day. He was literally like, well, you need to meditate, go to the gym, and have sex. She said in the interview.
I agree with that. Shout out.
Bobby shared his views on a number of topics related to business, work-life balance, though he didn't make the comments she attributed to him in the 2018 interview. The allegations of mischievous regarding Frank are troubling, he added, and if true, it would represent a serious breach of trust and a violation of the law. I mean, she's probably going to get in some sort of trouble in the long run, depending on who she really pissed off. Man, you gotta watch out, man.
I mean, she might get slapped, but if she gets to keep the 175 because they can't find a way around it, then like she might get fined like $400,000, and then she's good to go.
Yeah, big facts.
Because they max out those like white collar crime fines, and that's you can like steal like $2 billion, and you fine you like $4 million.
Yeah.
Like, oh, then I'll do this again.
Yeah, that's true. Well, that's articles, man. That's articles. Those are good ones. We're about creeping up on 2 hours. Last episode has 50 views. I've got 50 views, by the way, in the past week. That's pretty good.
On the streams?
Yeah, on the streams, man.
No, shout out.
Blowing up, man. Blowing up.
Belarus. Belarus.
Nah, but we do really appreciate you guys. Before I tell you all to go fuck yourselves, we really do appreciate, we've been doing this. We're getting closer to the like 52 mark on the episode, so we're super close, but it's been, it's just awesome. We really appreciate the support and people subbing and watching and sharing. It's like takes a lot of effort and time, and we both like work full-time jobs and got like fucking lives and shit that we got to do, and we just appreciate y'all stopping by and watching or whatever. It means a lot to us because it takes a lot of effort and we enjoy it, but it's just nice. Just thanks. I'm just in a good mood. Thanks.
Go fuck yourselves, and I'll make sure that the outro is more than 20 seconds so the stream doesn't kick us off in case it's the first 20 seconds, last 20 seconds.
Oh, no, you're fine, man. You're good. Because I always let it run. I always got to play a little bit of music, and then I let you go. And then it's funny because on the end of every episode, when I switch tiles, I can hear you being like, oh, yeah, all right, well, fuck yeah, all right. And it's like, stream over, recording stopped. And then you like leave because I keep it running. But it's desktop audio, so that's you and that's whatever else I'm playing is all on the same line. That's why I'll be like, oh, mute, because it's like it runs at the same shit.
And go fuck yourselves.
No, we appreciate
Recording
y'all.
Stopped.
Follow, like, subscribe, be good, stay out of trouble, Mr. Goody. I'm going to keep this going. Nah, we appreciate you guys. Stay the fuck out of trouble. Peace out.
Shout out.